welcome to our Year 3 Helping Your Child at Home with Numeracy workshop. I'm Mrs. Evans.
I'm Miss Millett. And I'm Miss Hodges. The purpose of this session is to help you as parents and carers at home to support your child's learning, whether in lockdown or generally. To provide resources and activities that you can do with your children at home that they are used to doing in school, so you will get a free goodie bag for tuning in. And to highlight some of the online tools that we like to use regularly in school, because the children can use them at home. There is a webinar which demonstrates these in more detail if you would like further help. And also to clarify to you at home what we would do in the event of a lockdown or a period of isolation. One of the things that you will find in the pack is a wipeable 100 square. The 100 square is useful to help the children find lots of numbers. So for example, you could say, can you find the number on your 100 square with 3 tens and 6 units? It helps the children to investigate where the odd and even numbers are situated, and to see how multiples of numbers are arranged. They are also useful for many different types of activities. As they are wipeable, the children can mark any numbers that they see as important when completing their own calculations at home.
In your pack you will also find gridded whiteboards. The children are already used to using these, as this is how their maths books are set out as well. It encourages children to form numbers correctly. It makes sure that the numbers and maths characters are neat and written within the squids. The children can practice their number formation and maths calculations, and they can also practice other maths skills such as ordering numbers, rounding numbers, using greater than and less than, which is really useful. This is a really fun game that your child can play at home, which is a multiplication race. So you will need a timer for this. Basically, they can choose the number that they want to multiply by, so 2s or 3s or 5s or 10s, what we're working on at the moment. And then they need to use the timer to see how long it takes them to race around. Then we can do this again just to see if they can beat their time. So in your pack you'll also find word problem challenge cards, and they're used to link maths in school to maths in the real world. The children know this as questions in context. So for example, the first one will say if you have 67 slices of pizza and 15 slices are eaten, how many slices would you have left over? So the children can then use their whiteboards, they can draw pictures if that helps, or they can use the written methods which Mrs. Evans is going to discuss with you later. If you would like to challenge your children a little bit more, whilst you're out shopping together, you could show them something that comes in a pack of 3 and ask the question, how many packs would you need for 15 people?
In Year 3 we use several different ways of different methods of teaching addition. One of the most important skills, however, is to be able to mentally add numbers up to 10 and then 20. This will be very useful, for example, for making connections. If you know that 5 and 3 makes 8, children will also come to realise that 50 and 30 makes 80, that 15 and 3 makes 80, and that will help them in doing more complicated addition later on. Please practice mental addition of numbers up to 10 and 20. Even if you think your child knows it, keep reinforcing that. It is so important. One of the ways in which we teach addition is using a number line. Number lines are really useful to use. For example, one of the ways in which we teach addition in Year 3 is to use a number line. If we were going to add the numbers 36 and 47, for example, we start now with the blank number line, moving on from Year 2 work where the number line is already labelled for the children. All they have to do is first of all draw a line and put 36 at the start of the line. Instead of just adding 7, they're able to add 4 to get to the next round number and then add the 3. But before they can do that, this is why it's really important to know those facts that 4 and 3 make 7. Once we've got to added the 7, we can then add on the 4 tens, 40 in one jump to make 83. If your child is not really confident in adding 40, they could make little jumps for each 10 all the way along. We also use the number line for subtraction, and there's two main ways in which we do this. One is by counting back on the number line. So again, if we've got this sum, 86 take away 32, this time we only put 86 at the end. We don't know where it's going to end up yet. Having put 86 at the end, then take away the 30, and we can leap back to 56, and then take away the 2, so we get to 54. Using a number line again for subtraction, another way is to use complementary addition. This time we put the 38 at the front and 74 at the end. If the calculation was 74, take away 38. And now we jump up to the 10, then we jump up to the 70, and then on to the 4. This time, to find the answer, of course, we have to add up the numbers in the loops. So two different ways of doing it. Some children prefer this way, some prefer this way. We'll be doing both of those methods. Number lines, of course, are only one way of adding and subtracting. As children get older, they will be able to choose a method which they prefer to use. We also teach column addition and subtraction, or as we know many parents like to call them, proper sums. We are including in the pack some sheets which will explain the many different methods we use for the 4 number operations. We will be introducing these different methods throughout Year 3. We won't be doing them all at once. We will make sure that one method is embedded before we move on to the next. In your pack, you will find a blank place value board. This can be used for recording numbers by saying, for example, there are 6 units, 5 hundreds and 3 tens, and your child will then put them in the correct place and then read the number to you. Another way, you can write some digits, such as 3, 4, 5, 6, and then ask your child questions. For example, what is the value of the 6 in this number? What is the value of the 4 in the number? We've given you thousands, tens of thousands, as well as hundreds, tens and ones place value grid as children get more confident with number. One very common mistake that children will make when writing the number 308 is to write 308. If they place it on the place value board first, they can see, of course, that it's 3 in the thousands. In this last example, we could ask what is the value of the 7 in the last number. Because it's a very big number, it's surprising how many children will say 7 million. But of course, if you've got the columns at the top, we can correct that and they can say it's 7 tens of thousands, so 70,651.
So in the event of a lockdown or a period of isolation, this is what we will offer. If an individual is isolating at home, there are a menu of activities that children can access from home, and they will be linked to thematic learning so long as that learning is taking place in the classroom. These activities will be available on Google Classroom, Seesaw and Hub, and paper literacy and numeracy packs will be available from the school office upon request. In the event of a whole class or a contact group isolating, the children will have the menu that they would receive if an individual was isolating, along with a menu of tasks linked to our thematic learning. There will be daily online activities for them to do, again on Google Classroom, Seesaw or Hub. In the menu it will indicate where you will find those activities. For example, White Rose Maths will be available on Seesaw, and there will be a little logo on that section of the menu telling you where to find the resource. Again with that, should you need a paper literacy or numeracy pack, they are available from the school office should you request one. In the event of a whole school closure or lockdown, in addition to what we will provide there, we will also aim to video call or telephone you at least once weekly to speak to your child. There will be some live and pre-recorded lessons available as well. Paper literacy or numeracy packs are also available from the school office upon request. In addition to this, continually there are a range of online tools which children can access, and as mentioned in the first slide, there is a webinar available for you to access that will explain each of those activities in more detail. Well, thank you for joining us, and we really hope that this has been of some value to yourselves. Should you have any questions about anything in the pack, please don't hesitate to ask us. And we just hope that you find the resources really useful, and we look forward to hearing from the children what they've been using with you at home.